All right, let's get to the CSS for this thing. It is 12:40 a.m. my time, so nobody should be calling me. Let's see what we got here. So this is the mobile, as is everything without CSS right now. It's just a god awful mess. But we're gonna clean this up. So let's start at the top. Let's get this nav bar done. So here's my navigation and my nav bar. Let's go to my core styles where everything lives. Let me just collapse everything. So if you're not used to the way I like to do things, so as you can see, I got all these media queries. So for each section, I have all the media queries in its section. So this is the landing section, and these are all the media queries for the entire landing section. So I start with 0 so that I can toggle them on and off. So this is for mobile, this is tablet, this is small desktop, and this is regular desktop. I like to do, these are like the ideal breakpoints, and you definitely want to hit 1024 because that's going to be iPad Pros, horizontal iPads, small MacBooks, and other small laptops. So you want to make sure your design also incorporates this breakpoint, very important. And then this is kind of like the standard, like your containers are usually going to be about 1200 pixels wide, so like the regular desktop version is about 1300, and feel free to add as many as you need, but this should be pretty good. You might need to add one in between for horizontal, which is like I think 568 pixels and up. That's horizontal phones and mobile. So we'll see if we need to do that here. But right now, part of my little template here, I have core styles, so that that also takes care of the mobile bar and the buttons, etc. So let's go ahead and override some of these. So we're going to go to the mobile, and let's find out where we're at. So right now this is like positioned relative, and it's pushing this down. But we have a no header bar on top. It's just a what do you call it? An empty header, I guess. There's no background. So that's what we need to do here. So let's figure out where things are. We toggle that off. Okay, so mobile nav. That's on line 347. Right here, so let's get rid of this. Alright, so now we're just left with, let's see, if I make this position relative, let's make this position absolute. And gotta make it a width of 100%. Because when you make something absolute, you have to tell it how big and tall it is. So we have to make it go wide. Looks like there's something else we're not getting here. Oh, that's the mobile nav. So this is the mobile wrapper. That's right. That's where our background's coming from. So we're gonna go. Let's zoom in a little bit so y'all can see this. Mobile wrapper 336. Okay, so that's this one. We're gonna get rid of this background. There, that makes sense. And let's make this relative again. Maybe we don't need to. Let's make the wrapper position absolute and width 100%. Let's get rid of this relative. With widows, not width. Okay, so there's that. Now that's on top. So when we make it position absolute, it removes itself from the normal order of the HTML. So it's like this is our mobile wrapper. So this is what we are seeing right now, right here. And when we make this position absolute, it basically says, screw you guys, I'm floating where I want to float, and then we just tell it where to float. So right now it's just sitting at the top position here. And let's get rid of this border. It looks like this border bottom. Don't need that. Let's see, this logo here. We don't need that because it's, our logo is part of it right here, right? It's part of the centerpiece. So what we're going to do is go here to this image. That's the logo here. We don't need that, so we just remove that. All right, so that's out. So you see these guys need to be white. So those are going to be my hamburger guys. You are at 242. So that's going to be these. The hamburger is active. I didn't write this code. What did I do? Let's where did I get this? I know it's on here somewhere. I want to show it to you guys. There, this is the one. So I use Hamburgers by John Suh, I think. And what's really nice is you can just copy and paste these into your code. So it has all these nice little animations. Again, I'm all for why reinventing the wheel. Why spend your time doing something someone else already did pretty? I like this one. Someone else already did pretty good. So whenever I need some hamburger menus, I like to go over to this guy's site here. So they got a lot of good options. And you don't need to be too crazy. I mean, they're just hamburger menus. So honestly, I use one of them for all of my sites. Actually, I like this one. Maybe someday I'll change. But yeah, this is the code. You just copy and paste it into your project. So here's the code for the background. So we do that. I think it's here. Where are you still getting your black color? Okay. So it is at 211. Oh, this is the active. I was doing the active one. I think we want to let's change that. So that's going to change it when it's active. You know, we want it to be black. So 211. Okay, there we go. Those guys are good. There's that border. There we go. Because I went too far back. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. This dark, we got to change this to be a little whiter. So we got to go to our dark CSS 100. So this is in my dark mode CSS. This controls all of dark mode. So this is the button. This is the after pseudo class for dark color. We're just going to make this white. There we go. So now let's get this guy. Let's rein him in. All right. So we got. Let's go back to our style landing. So we got our hero here. Hero text. So we don't have a hero image. So this guy. So I think we're just going to do. Well, let's start at the top. Okay, so that's our hero. So this will be where hero image is. And we're going to do display block, because if you want to manipulate an image, like with height and width and margin and all that, it needs to be display block, because it's display inline by itself, just by default, and you can't really do things to an inline element. It either has to be inline block or block. So I'm going to make this block, and we're going to do a width of, I don't know why I keep doing Windows. Width, let's just do 90%. And just do the height of auto. So there's 90. I think it's big enough. So you see it's off-centered. What you want to do is, since it's already display block, if you do margin auto, it centers it left and right. And we need some space up top. So let's give it a margin top, I don't know, 100. That looks like too much. Let's try 50. 40. Because we gotta fit this this and this button in here. So I think we make it smaller. Let's do 70. All right, and now we got, so this guy, Laura. So let's add our Laura. I think, yeah, I need italic. All right, let me just make you full screen. So I need italic. I need your regular. I don't think I need italic for fatties. All right, so load me up for there. Let's add this link to our header. I'm going to scroll up here. So in our head, looks like I already have font for Poppins. Let's just throw this in there. Normally, what you'd rather do is you want to combine them into one, because I have two separate ones. So you just want to, find Poppins and redo this link. But I'm not going to do that right now because I'm not going to waste your time watching this. I'll just do that later. So now we got that. I'm going to, let's see, what is, so Laura, so it looks like everything is Laura and Oswald. I think Oswald is default. So core styles, where's our P's? Let's do P's, A's, L's, spans. No, let's just do P's and L's. Or no, let's just do P's. P's, you're going to be Laura. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's just put it on the body. Why not? And then I can just change it. So put the font on the body. And then we want to, let's see, on our H2s. Looks like our H's, all of our H's are going to be Oswald. Alright, and then we got this guy. What are you? Lobster. Alright, so let's grab our lobster while we're here. Well, if we got Laura there. So, lobster. Select this. So now we gotta update our CDN. Come here. Get over here. Do what I want you to do. Alright. And so we're going to redo this so that we have both Lobster and Laura. Okay. That's saved. That's saved. So that's my Laura. We're going to go back to style. And we're going to redo our, I think this is home H. Yeah. There we go. Our H1 with our ID home H. We are going to do a font weight of what it looks like. It's light. Is it light? No, it looks like it's just italic. Font weight of 400, which is normal, and then a font style italic. Let's just see what that does. That's a little better. Looks like we have I think we have an opacity of 92%. 92. Alright, and this is obviously a little too big, so let's just do 1M. That's too small. 1.3. This is 20. But just trying to figure out how to make it look good. Well, number one, let's add some margin bottom here. At least spread this out a little bit. So we got margin top 40. So let's do margin bottom 40. Okay, so that's what that's going to look like. I'm still not, like, it looks fine here, but I'm just not sold on it right here. Let's try not doing italic. Italic. Oh, maybe we can keep it. It's 300, like, that doesn't do anything. trying to decide if I like it or not. Let's try 2. I feel like that's a little better, but you don't. So now you got here. This is called an orphan word. You don't want to have one word on one line. That's just weird. Not to say that orphans are weird. It's just if you're a word and an orphan, you're kind of weird. So let's do this one to 4. I think that's fine. So this is a 5S, or yeah, 5SE. So that should be fine. Let's actually move this up. Let's do 30 because it's too. There's not enough space down here. So 30's fine. So we just got a regular shop now. Okay. So let's just go ahead and go into our core styles here and go to our links. Where's our links? Are they up here? I think they're up here. Button solid. Here we go. So we're going to do, instead of Roboto, Oswald. Let's see, is that Oswald now? Let's find out. Text transform, uppercase. That doesn't look like Oswald. I think I do have to add it. All right, so let's bring this back. Let's see. I think I want bold. I'm gonna do this, just in case I need them. You don't want to use all of the fonts because then it just bogs things down and slows it down. So put this back. Let's go to the top and redo our CDN. There, that looks better. Why are you Oswald? Okay, so let's go back to our style. Here's this hero home H. Oh, that's because I put headers as Oswald. So we actually have to do put a font family on these. Let's grab it from here. So on this specific header, instead of being Oswald, I want you to be Laura. And if you want to, that looks fine. We need some more line height. I like to do 1.5 M. That usually has like the most optimal look. So let's bring up our image a little more because I still don't like it. That's because I want this space down here. So I'll take it. Now we're going to fix this. So this button here, text A. So I need this background to be white, right? And then we need, well, first, let's grab our main color, put our core styles, and how you do CSS variables is you create a :/root selector, and then you do a dash and a name, and then you add your color. So this is going to be our primary color. So that when I come back here and I want to do color, I just do var parentheses dash primary, and that makes it my primary color. So font weight to bold, and that's a great way to kind of templatize your website. So if you need to, reuse it for another client, because I mean you already made a killer design, and if they're in a different state, why not? Why reinvent the wheel? You got a great website. Just change some of the colors, change some of the images and text, and there you go. A nice, quick, easy turnaround. Save yourself some time. So now that we got this, what is actually the button dimensions? So our buttons are going to be group 1. So they need to be, let's see, 183 wide. So let's shrink this down, 183. They are 50 tall. So let's do a line height. Wait, the line height is on here. Line height 50, great. That's how I like to make my buttons. If you're not aware, one of the easiest way for me to make buttons, I mean, you can use padding, but I like to add a line height to my A tag, and that centers the text up and down, so you don't have to worry about like text being lower or higher. And then I give it a width, and then I add text align center so that it's always centered. But if you have different sized buttons, you can add like a, I don't know, like a 20 pixel padding, so that when the words get bigger, there's always that padding on the side. They don't touch the edges, and then you just make this a min width. But I cross that bridge when I get to it. And there is no border radius, so we're going to remove this. And that's our button. So now we deal with this. So let's get this. This is dark. This is the dark. What do you call it? It's the This is the overlay. That's adding this darkness on top. So I need this pines. Oh, I see. I can't just do image because I also have an image here. So I gotta give this a class of logo or hero logo. Let's go back and fix this. Instead of hero image, let's do hero.hero logo. Nothing will change, except now you'll see that this isn't being messed with because it was also targeting this image. We wanted to be more specific, and we're going to manipulate this now. So I'm going to go to the bottom, since it's basically the bottom most part of this section. So we're going to do class of pines. So we want it to be position absolute. We're going to make sure our hero is position relative, and it is. There it is. Okay. Any absolutely positioned element needs to be inside of a relatively positioned container for it to work. So now we're going to make 100%, and we're going to do bottom of 0, left of 0. So I want it to be at the bottom, pushing over to the left as much as it can. That is 100% of its container. And then I also want to give a z index of whatever is higher than dark. Dark is 0, so I should do 10. So, yep, there's that. So you see it's on top of the dark layer, and it's sitting on top of the section. So, but we've got this this little line, and that's typically just a graphical bug with the inspector. But just to be cautious, what I like to do, bottom -1 pixels, and that takes care of that. So let me see what the width is on the height. So we get a pretty big padding bottom, and it's not like I can, bring this up. So one of the things you want to do first now. So this is a 100% width graphic. So when the phone screen gets wider, that means this is going to get bigger and it's going to get closer to this. So I want to do responsive. I want to do 320. So this is where we are right now, 320. And let's zoom out a little bit. All right. So when we make this bigger, you're going to notice that this is going to grow, and it's eventually going to overtake. So this is too close. So let's see, if we're at 320, I don't think we have to worry about it for a little bit because we do have that padding bottom of 150, and that holds pretty strong. But when we get bigger, what we're going to do is we're going to make this a percentage. So on desktop, when this growth is more predominant and it encroaches, when you have a padding bottom of like 30%, when it's 30%, that padding bottom gets wider. I mean, it gets taller as the screen gets wider, so it pushes this graphic down as it gets bigger, basically holding it in place. So it's a neat little trick when you have full width graphics. So let's go back to iPhone 5. So this looks fine. This is cool. So now we're going to get into the this guy, the next section. So how do we transform this into mobile? Because obviously we don't have the real estate here, right? So we have to figure out what's important, what do we keep, or do we rearrange these? Maybe these are on top now. Probably not. I don't know if that would look stupid. But let's get the interior part done, like this text and this graphic. So let's start with, let's see, this text. Nope, wrong text. Yeah, this one. So our black is going to be 222. So let's, is that the color for all of these? Okay, no. It's just going to be this header. So that's obviously 65 pixels. That's obviously too big. So we're going to go to our next section. Let's collapse this. And you see, you'll see how neat it is working with it. So let's do about. Like once you start going back and forth between multiple sections of your website, it's easier to scroll up and down and get to multiple breakpoints rather than having to scroll all the way up and down a 2,000 or 3,000 line long CSS document just to find tablet for this about section, where you can just find it right here. So since this is all empty, I'm going to just replicate this for the next section so it's easier. So we're working on about at mobile right now. And we're going to target our H2. So, because all these H2s, they're going to be shared. That's right. So I want to do, well, let's just do, let me see. So H2, H2, H2. Well, this one might be a little, no, I think it's got to be the same. So I'm just trying to figure out a way to, only write a couple lines and it repeats. I mean, it's a simple enough website. So I think we'll just stick together with the quote block. So we're going to do quote block. So this will also be targeting this one. So we'll be building this at the same time that we're building this. So quote block H2. We're going to do a text transform of uppercase. We want to be that capitalized. We want the color to be this 222 black, and then obviously we want text align at the center, and I think it's got Oswald on it. So yeah, we're gonna make this bigger. So let's just see. So its font size is 60 on desktop. So let's try 40 here. That's too much. I want it to be on one line, so let's experiment. No, let's try 33. No, let's try 30. Okay, that's better. So I got that fitting on one line. Now we gotta target the span. So we want it to be display block. Let's see if it goes under or over. It goes under because that's the way it's stacked. So it's on the right, right? So that means if it was to the left, it would stack on, like I'll show you, it would stack on top. Right? It just matters, it just depends on where you put it. So I just for the sake of screen readers, if they do pick it up, if they run it into it this way, healthy by nature products. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to make this position relative and make this position absolute. There it is. And top, let's do a negative 20 pixels. Left, let's do negative 50 pixels. Maybe a little less, 20. Okay, let's do a little higher, 26. So we also want it to be, I'm just going to copy this because I hate writing out font families, font family code. Laura, this is lobster. Okay, and this is picking up on the H2's text uppercase, so we're going to redo that to text transform, capitalize, and that'll be better. And we want its color to be the primary. And we want it to be smaller, so that text size is too big. So font size, every time I use style, it overrides my size autocorrect. So we're at 30, so let's try 20. And that looks fine. I think that space is good. So now let's do the image. So one of my favorite things to do, like if you have an image like this that's underneath something, just make it a pseudo element attached to that element, because wherever that element goes, that will go with it. It's a lot easier than creating a div with all of these things inside of it. So like right here, like this is it. This is all we have. Imagine if we had to add another container with these three elements in it and positioning them all together. It's just a little messy. We don't need to do that. So let me pull up my, let's see, pseudo and background code, background and pseudo. So we're going to copy this. This is my cheat sheet. I recommend you setting up your own so that you can, all the things that you use pretty often, put it in a cheat sheet, just copy and paste it, especially pseudo element stuff. So quote block H2 4, and I'm just going to paste this code. So all pseudo elements need to have a content. It's most of the time it's going to be empty. Otherwise, if you want to make your pseudo element have text and show up, like it'll look like this. You type your text here, and all of your pseudo elements should have display block on it. It just helps cross-browser compatibility so that they all show up. Some of them need to be declared like that. So just get in the habit of display block. And now what we do here, that's unique. So this height and width, what we're going to do is we're going to specify how big and tall we want this pseudo. And then we're going to set a background image to it, which is going to be this graphic. And it's going to be background size contain. Contain means it will fit within the container. It'll just contain itself within the border. It's different than background size cover, which it will cover the entire container that it's in. So and on all these, you always want to have background repeat, no repeat, background position, center. I want it centered in the div. In the pseudo. So where are these mountains at? They are mountain. Okay, so I'm going to change this to mountain, and since we are on mobile, let's just take a crack at it. Of height. Well, let's look at our width here. So this is 270, so that's where we want to start, is width of 270 pixels. And then let's just guess on the height, 800. And we want this, so we want this pseudo element to be positioned absolutely in the center of this. So one way to do that is by using Flexbox. So we can use Flex on headers. But I don't want to, because I also have a span in here, and I think that's going to mess with it. So let's just see what happens. So justify content center, align items center. Okay, that doesn't mess with our span. Excellent. So just to center something, these three lines: display flex, justify content, which is the x-axis left and right. Align items, which is the y-axis up and down. It's just center on the x, center on the y, and there it is. So let's see, what's the opacity on this thing? Mountain 1, 13%. So on this, we're going to do opacity of 0.13, and there's that. That looks pretty good. So you notice if I make, so you see this box, it's 270 by 100. So it's filling that entire box. That's what we're doing here. So if I wanted to make this bigger, I just make the height. Even if I make the height 200, it's only going to be as big as it can be wide. So while I make the pseudo elements 200 tall, you'll notice that the graphic doesn't, I'm going to zoom this in, the graphic doesn't go to the top, it doesn't fill it up, because it doesn't have any more space to go. So if I wanted this to be to fill it up more, it has to be wider. But we don't need to do that. That's just how that works. I like to use pseudo elements with background images a lot. Helps clean up your HTML, and it's a lot easier to work with. So now that we have that, let's zoom back out here. So we got our let's see, our paragraph. So we have them at 18. What I like to do on mobile is all of my text is going to be, it's going to be 16 pixels, so 1em. So here we are, quote block. So we're going to do dot quote block p font size. Every time font size 16 pixels, and then with that, the ideal line height is going to be 1.5em. I love using that ratio 1.5em for your font size because it just looks right. So I definitely recommend using that, especially on mobile. You don't want to use too big or too small a font. I think 16 point is pretty solid. So this is obviously centered. So text align center. I'm not going to get bogged down by the specifics of like how far apart they are on mobile, because since their font sizes are different, their spaces between them are going to be different. So I'm going to look at I'm just going to look at the positioning. You'll notice a pretty decent space between the graphic and the paragraph. So we're just going to try to replicate that same kind of space. So so this H2, you have a margin bottom of 30, and that's coming from the core styles. So on the H2 up here, let's override that. So it looks like we still could use some more space. Let's just say like 50 pixels. And that looks like too much of a gap. Let's try 45. That looks pretty good. That looks fine. And then let's see. Same thing down here. We're going to do on the P's. Margin bottom. Let's do 45. The same that's up here, just to be consistent. And looks like, what's going on here? Why are you not centered? So I had to start and stop there. There's some noise happening in the house. Had to investigate. It was nothing. Nothing to be alarmed by. So, all right, now I'm back. You notice like there's like a cut, like an edit. So I don't like to edit these or make cuts. I'm just going all the way. Sometimes I have to stop if there's some disruptions in the house. But this button is not centered. So one of the things I want to do is I want to do that quote. Do the A, and I want to do margin of auto. And for some reason that's still not working. So what are you doing? Are you displaying? Okay, it's inline block. Okay, so I gotta change that to block. Sometimes because inline blocks, the margin auto won't work. So display block. There we go. Now it's centered. It seems like that that margin auto to center left and right only really works on block level elements. So after we investigated, we saw what properties are on it. We saw it was inline block, and that's clearly an issue. So if you ever run into that kind of a situation, that's where you should start looking. Is okay, it's not centering, margin auto is not working. Is it display block? The answer is no. Well, that's our problem right there. So that's kind of how you deduce that. And again, we have another image as a background. So let's just copy this code right here. Oops, copy. And I'm going to do this one, except it's going to be A. And instead of the mountains, it's going to be, what is it going to be? Where's this thing at? Oh, is it saved as an SVG or something? Let's try, what is this image? are you in here? Maybe I didn't say that. So then what we do in Figma is you have your export setting right here, and I'm just going to export as a PNG. So we're going to export, and there's our little graphic. I'm going to save you in, let's see, forced evolution, images, and we're going to do button back. There you are. I don't know where it is in here. Maybe I forgot it. So now that we got this, we're going to do, this is a mountain. It's going to be button back. And I think it's a square. Is it, let's see, 143 by 143. So on our code, it should be a square. So this button, this should be 143 by 143. Okay. Make this 143. And let's see what that looks like. It's not, okay, so this is position absolute. Where's our graphic? That's because our A, we have to explicitly say position relative. And it's still not there. So, button back, oh. Let's see, maybe that didn't work. So let's find out. So here's our before. It's here, but it's not centered. I mean, maybe that's the problem. It's not centered. So let's take our display flex, put it on the A. Okay, it's centered now. But where are, oh, it's at 13% opacity. Let's get rid of that. There you are. It was just too opaque because I copied and pasted the code. So now it's on top. I want to put it behind. It says z index -1 to go behind. And there's that. Looks like it's behind. It is centered left and right, and it is attached to the button. So now all we got to do is we got to bump up this space here because it looks like we have the same amount of gap here as we do here. So you want to keep your gaps the same. That's just good spacing. So we have, what is this, 35? 45. This is 45, but we need more because of that. So let's try, okay, our P, let's do 65. That's not enough. Let's do 75. I think that's okay. I think it looks fine. Yeah, that feels all right. So right away, this is what we have. And this is our desktop. Now, the only thing we're missing are these things. But looking at the design, it's just not going to fit. So it's just one of those things that you lose going from desktop to mobile. And these are the types of decisions you're going to have to learn how to make, is what is important to the design and what is not. So these brackets are not crucial. They just, it's nice because they help kind of give this space a little more meaning, a little more structure. It kind of contains this and adds a little more something visually interesting. However, on mobile, we're already at the edge. We have no white space, making it boring. So we didn't need these brackets to fill it in and contain it. So we're fine. And actually, I don't like how tall this span is. We're going to bring it down a little bit. Let's try 23. That feels a little better. No, let's do a little more. 20. It's too much. There we go. 22. There's too much space there. So yeah, we're just gonna kill it. We're gonna nuke it. No brackets, because it's not needed. And on mobile, it's really about how you use your space, and it's really important not to crowd it, because when you try to cram too much in mobile, it's noticeable. and it's just it takes away from the design. So we're just going to keep this as it is, and we'll add the brackets probably when we get to tablet. So now we're on to this section, which is right here, benefits. Oh, actually, no, we forgot the gradient background. So yeah, let me see what this looks like. I try not to use great, backgrounds on mobile if I don't have to. So this is the faded. Is this the faded? Yeah, you'll see because it has the background here and it's white up here. So that's what I created this graphic. I made this fade because we have this white graphic on top, and it didn't look right having this textured graphic behind it. So what I did instead is I made the textured graphic white on top and fade into its graphic, into its texture. So we're going to go back up to, so we're going to close this, back up to landing, hero, background, we're going to make it faded. Oh, sorry, not hero. This is about. Way to go, Ryan. Okay. So we're in about. So let's do ID about. And I don't feel like typing everything, so I'm just going to steal my background code from my cheat sheet. Reformat. So background, you're always going to have your URL. That's, I want it to cover, I want it to be centered, and I don't want it to repeat. You're going to use these all the time. Might as well have that copy and saved somewhere. So we're going to do faded. What was it? Faded antique. Faded antique. And let's see what that looks like. Okay, so we got our, looks like it's fading down, and we got it at the bottom. So I think that's fine. And I was expecting it to, not be as white right here, but let's try moving it. Let's see what happens if I move it up a little bit. So this background position, you can actually have multiple entries. So the first one would be x-axis, and the second one would be y. So let's try 50% on the y-axis. Let's see where that takes us. I'm going to use this to toy with it in the inspector. So we're going to go up. Let's see if it moves. Down. Okay, it looks like it doesn't move, so nothing's happening to it. The image is just too. It's stretched as far as it can on the y-axis, but that's fine. I think it looks fine. We got our texture. So now I think we're going to do. So we're going to put texture on. Let's get rid of this. So the store is actually going to go right here, and it's going to break up between these guys. So on mobile, we're not going to see the store on this one. So it's going to look weird when you have this. There's going to be a line, right? You're going to see a line between this section and this section, but there's going to be a Shopify store in here populating that space. So we're not going to worry about that. So we basically, it's kind of the same. So this quote block benefits. Let's just add a class of quote block so that we can inherit all of the styles from the about section from this section that we just did. It's basically the same, and I don't want to repeat myself. So when we go down here, see this is already done, but on this draft I don't have. I just have this little line, this arrow, but on this one I have it. Like these are the, I think, because these are bigger, right? This is 65, and this is 40. So yeah, it's just the hierarchy I've created. These big H2s have the mountain background, right? And they're centered. These left aligning H2s looks like they're smaller and they don't have one. So that's just the kind of design rule I've made. So we're not going to have the mountain. So we're going to go down here. We're going to copy this for the next section. All right, this is going to be our benefits. Let me just reformat this a little bit. Okay, we're going to start here. So landing, about, and benefits. So we got this right now. We have to remove this image. So what we have to do is use the ID to target it more specifically. Benefits, get this out of the way, benefits, H2, and we're going to, well, H2 before, and then we're going to do display none. We want to remove it. So it's gone because IDs have a higher specificity, which is a higher specific value than a class. So when we have the benefits H2, an ID H2 will always override a class H2. So just remember that. And well, we also got that background that we want to grab. I'm just going to copy this and then collapse this. You see how much more convenient it is just working with this? So then benefits, background, and I want faded antique full. So there's that faded antique. It doesn't look bad, but I think I have an opacity on it, 25%. So let's try that. Oh, but the thing is, well, okay, so when you have a background image like this and you're trying to make it opaque, so 25, it makes everything opaque, and that's a problem. We don't want everything opaque. So what we have to do instead now is we have to make a pseudo element. So that's our background. Our pseudos always have a content with empty quotes because we don't want anything in it. Position absolute. We want to position it absolutely relative to the body. So now we got to do benefits. Position relative. So the container always has to have relative on it. All right. Never forget that. And we have to have display block. And we want our height 100%, and our width 100%. And then this is where we do our opacity, 25. So it's the pseudo element that's actually getting the opacity and not the entire benefits section. And we want this to be behind everything. So we're going to do -1. So that's better now. It's got that subtle, but so you see this gap here. That's a result of the padding. So I think we also have it. Let's see. Do we have it? Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, I see that line. So I think we have a padding on our benefits. So this padding top, if we go, let's try this instead. So now that because we have this padding to deal with, let's do top of 0, bottom 0, left 0, and right 0. So that should take care of that. It looks like it's going all the way to the top now. Let me just check it. So benefits, before, top left bottom, and opaque. So let's go back to our 75. And it's subtle, doesn't look too grainy. So, but you see this line, that's what I'm talking about. The store will be in between here, and we won't notice that. So now our next line of action here is to target this guy. So it's actually got to be 25%, 4% opaque. So that is going to be up here. So benefits, it's going to be the next thing in line. Let's target it with a class of, I don't know, let's just do faded graphic. All right, so now we're going to do benefits. Faded graphic. And I want opacity 0.04. So there's that. And I want you to be positioned absolutely. I want you top of, I don't know, negative 100 pixels, right of negative 100 pixels. Let's just see where that is. So yeah, this gets clipped by this. So for now, let's do. God, do we even need you? Like, it's already kind of crowded. Let's try with 180 pixels. Let's see what that does. Put you off in the corner there. Thinking, how do I want you? So if this is going to be blocked off, yeah, let me just do this for you guys, just so that it's easier for you to see. So we're just gonna tuck this right here. Shop. Let's do background of 222 and a height of 300 pixels. All right, so that's where the shop's going to be, and this is what we're working with. So let's just block that out so that we can plan around it. So benefits, let's do a padding top of 100. That just feels too crowded. I don't like it. Normally all of my pixels, top and bottom, are like 50. And let's see this. Let's grab this image. Let's bring it down some. Let's try negative 50. And let's try negative 50. Oops. And let's make you 280. Let's bring it right some more again. Top some more. I guess that works. But we got to bring this product over. So because this is getting clipped here. I'm going to copy this. That's quote block H2 span. So we're in H2 before. This should go after H2. This shouldn't go here. Just to order your CSS properly, this is attached to the benefits, which is the top level selector, because it's the first thing that we target, which is the whole, and then we just go down. So this should go up here actually. And this span should go after H2, because it's part of it's just one more level in. So we're at the H2. What's one more level in? Well, it's the span inside of it, so that's the next thing. To the left, what is that, like negative 15? That's a little better. I don't want to be hugging. Oh, that's there. Okay, no, that's there. So a little more. Let's just do 0. Apparently, yeah. Okay, that works right there. Actually, I don't think that's going to work out very well because, yeah, that was very dumb of me. So when we do, just because of these, so these are block level elements, right? So their width is 100% of its container. So when I set this to be left, it's actually left of the outermost point of its content container. So as this gets bigger, this keeps going left. So what I have to do instead, let's go back up to about, and so this span here, instead of being left -20, what I need to do is make sure that it stays positioned right here, no matter how wide this gets. Now I can also set it to have a fixed width, but these widths change. So what I'm going to do is a neat little trick to hold something in position. So this span, instead of being left -20, we're going to do left 50%. So when it basically goes left 50%, it goes here, and then I do a margin left of wherever I want it to be. So if I want it to go to the left, I have to give it a negative value. If I want it to go to the right of center, I give it a positive value. So I want it to go left -100 pixels. Right? Where'd you go? Left 50%. Position absolute. This is the H2 span, so where did you go? Oh, maybe it's just too, oh wait, I got a 0? Where's this at? 335. Oh yeah, because that is see what happens is I wasn't specific. So this is now out of scope of the benefits, so it's affecting this one. So we gotta get rid of this, and then that will help that. Because that benefits when we do the ID. That's why I do things in sections with their IDs. Because when I add an ID before the selectors, it scopes it to only happen in this section. You know, down there in the benefit section, I just put quote block, and that was affecting this one too because there's no prior selector before it to make it more specific. So now we got that. So it's left 50%, and it is going left 100 pixels. So what we do now is we just move it over until it's where we want it. And margin left. So go into inspector, use your arrows to go up and down, and that looks good. So -156. And what's nice is when you do it this way, no matter how big or small the screen gets, it stays exactly in place. So it's a neat little trick that I've picked up along the way. It's basically it's only on absolutely positioned elements, and you have to put left of 50% so that it is, it's halfway. It positions itself in the center 50%, and then from there, wherever it's sitting halfway in the screen, you want to use margin left to push it. You see that orange? That's the margin left. It's pushing it negative, which is to the left, and if I made it positive, it would push it to the right, and it stays here because instead of being positioned to the right or left of the outside of this content right here, so it'd be right, if it was, instead of being positioned here and on the edge over here, it's positioned halfway through, and margin left is pushing it this way, so it stays here no matter how big or small this is. Huge breakthrough in CSS when I was taught this by one of my colleagues at work. So I definitely recommend practicing with this and understanding when to use it. So I ran into that problem where you saw it in real time. I ran into this problem where it was floating to the left. How do you fix it? This neat little trick that you probably would never see anywhere else. Honestly, I have never seen that trick in any Stack Overflow or any other questions. And see, it's positioned appropriately right here too, so I don't have to touch it. So this looks fine. And now, so now that we don't have the the image behind it, this gap is just too big. So I think I have to minimize it. So we're gonna close this, go down to benefits. Let's see, benefits H2 before faded. All right, benefits H2 and margin bottom. Let's lower that. It's a little crazy. 45 pixels, 35 pixels, 25 pixels. That feels better. I'm gonna keep it centered because we are on mobile. So now we're gonna get to the fun guys here. The list. How do we want to do the list? I think we still want it to be, well, that's if we can make it, depending on how big these words end up becoming. I think we just have to do one list because otherwise they have to be so small on mobile to be two. Let's just see what it looks like. So we got our benefits. We're going to scope it for this. This will only affect the unordered list in the benefits section. And we're going to target these LIs. So right away, I want them to be, where's my font family? Oswald. It's going to be Oswald. They're obviously going to be, where are they? Bold. Font weight of bold. So they have a font size of 20. Let's just see what that looks like. And then we want to do list style, none. So that's going to remove the bullet point. All right. And then we want to do text transform, uppercase to make them uppercase. So that's cool. So let's turn these into two columns. So we're going to target the UL. And we're just going to do columns. Or do we do column count? I think that works. Column count 2? Yeah. So we do column count 2. This breaks it up into two equal columns. So it's pretty nifty. I like it like that. I think we can get away with that. Let's see. What's the line height of 24 pixels? No, that does nothing for me. So I think I got to, we're going to do margin bottom. Let's do 10. We need some space. That looks fine. Now, to do the custom bullet points, we're actually going to add pseudo elements to each LI. So we're going to copy the LI, and we're going to do before. And we got to make sure, since we're going to absolutely position it, the LI needs to be position relative. And I'm going to sneak some code for my pseudo element as a background or overlay from my cheat sheet. And so we got our content, blank, position absolute, display block, background. We're actually going to turn that into bar primary. Opacity is 1. We're going to remove these, sort of overwrite these. Height and width. We're actually going to make it, what are you? 11. So we're going to do 11 pixels. And then, so what we're going to be doing, I'm going to zoom in here. So each individual LI, we are going to absolutely position this pseudo element relative to it. So we're going to do left of -20. So they will all be -20 to the left of the LI. Let's say that's right here. And instead of making them like positioning it with Flexbox to make them align on the y-axis up and down, and make it in the center, we're going to do it from the top. We're going to position it from the top because if this ever goes down the two lines, the dot. Let me just do it for an example. 2 lines. So the dot, instead of being on this line, which is where we want it. If you did it with align items and center to make it centered vertically, it'll actually be right here. And you don't want that because that looks kind of weird. So how do we keep the bullet point right here? We just position it from the top of all of the LIs. So I want to do left of negative, let's just do negative 20. And then I want to do top of 0 just to see where that's at. Okay, so that's our top 0. Actually, I forgot to do border radius, so that just helps see it better. Okay, so we have our befores, right? So now we just go to our top here in the inspector and use our arrow key to go up or down. So we're going to go down until it looks like it's about center. And I think that looks fine right there. So it's a top of 9. And you'll notice that when it goes down to 2 lines, it stays there because instead of being positioned in the center of each LI, it's positioned from the top. And no matter how long these lines get, its top position stays the same. So that's what we're positioning off of. It'd be different if we tried positioning from the bottom because the bottom will always be shifted lower and lower, but the top stays right where it's at. So that's why we decided to position it from the top. And that's how you make custom bullet points. You just create a pseudo element and you give it a background. Your background can be an image like we just did on the H2s. We do background size contain, and you just make this 50 by 50 or whatever. And if you have a little square graphic, it will fit within this 50 by 50 that you made. That's one of the easiest ways I've seen of doing this, that you're in more control and it's easier to edit and change. So enjoy that. Hopefully that helped. Let's see. So we do have a bit. I think we have too much space here. So allies. What's also just helping you understand, like, why am I putting my CSS selectors in certain positions? Like, why am I scrolling up and adding them in between here or there? Well, it's because you want your CSS to align with the position of its elements in the HTML. So here's my ULs, and that's right here. That's the start of our UL. This is our H2, so it's right here. This is our H2, and this is our P tag. I want to target this P tag. So if I want to do it, don't put it at the end. That's not where it makes sense logically. So where it does make sense is between the H2, and the UL. So that's why we put it right here. So we do benefits, P, margin bottom, 50. That feels better. It's not as crazy. Also, let's get rid of this 2 lines. We don't need that. And you see, they all stayed the same. Nothing changed. But as you can see, that's because these are all short words. But I got some longer words over here, so I might have to change the font size to see if I keep them. I like 2. I don't want to have to do 1, so I'm probably going to have to lower the font size so that everybody fits and looks nice. So this UL, obviously we got to push this down. So we're going to do that. I like to push down. I don't like to push up. So if I need this to move down, I look at the element above it and I push it down. So we want to do our UL, margin bottom. Come on, I can do it. Here, margin bottom. Let's just do 50. That's not enough. This is obviously too close. So let's try 70. Still not. I want to have the same space up here in between here. So let's do 90. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. It's about three little circles. That looks fine. So I think that's done. Now we're gonna do these guys. We gotta do the bottom. So we forgot this guy. So we got this guy over here, which is fine. It's totally fine. It's really easy to add this guy. So we're right here, and that is where it's supposed to go. So the lefty, we have our image here. So let's scroll up. It's going to go after the benefits, after the graphic, but since it is left of the H2, it will be first. So let's look at our left. Almost forgot you. We're going to put it right here. Benefits, dot left. And since this is the one we're just doing a background, so we're going to give it a, let's say, a width of 250 pixels, a height of 400. And then we're going to do the background. Let's see, what is that? Bridge. Okay, it's just called bridge. Okay, so it'll create a div that is 250 wide, 400 tall, with this as the background. And this is clearly too tall. So let's do 300. And let's try. So let's also center this. So it's a block level element anyway. So margin is auto. That should center it. Oh, wrong one. So I'll center that. However, we want to add this little green guy. So what we're going to do is I'm going to collect my pseudo element code for just a pseudo element, 100% of its height and width of its parent. So benefits left before paste. Position relative, because we're absolutely positioning something on it, and a var of, man, I am losing it right now. Primary, so we want it to be the same height and width of its parent element, right? And then I want to shift it equally up and to the left. So I want it to go, let's say negative 20 pixels top, negative 20 pixels left. All right, so that creates that offset, and I want it to go behind -1. Let's see, z index of 1. Does that fix it? And another z index. I hate these z index issues. It really irritates me. Doesn't matter how long you do this. It seems like you're always going to run into a z index issue. Because we did it just fine with our. Oh, where'd you go? There, yeah, we did it just fine with that one. Where'd you go? I thought you had one. Someone. All right, programming. Yeah. So, let me just figure out why this is doing what it's doing. If I do this, that still doesn't do it. Oh, pixels. Is that it? Is that it? No. Benefits before, benefits dot left. Z index -1. I don't know why you do this. Why do you do what you do? So God, I wish there's something to explain why z indexes do what they do. This is a position, because z indexes only work on elements with a declared position. I'm wondering why it's not going before it. So what I want to try, I guess what I'm going to have to try and do is I'm going to create an after element with the background of this, and I'm going to place it, I'm going to make it, I don't know, 90% the width and height. Same with this. Punch this to the left and to the left and top. Punch this to the bottom and right of this div. So let's try, obviously we got before, so let's try 90%. 90. And then I'm going to copy and paste this after, and it's going to be you. So instead of background var primary, we'll make that the bridge, and we'll make that the index 1, and we're going to do, let's see, so bottom, actually wrong. So bottom 0, right 0. So they're going to go to their corners. They're not the full width, so there's going to be a gap when they go to their each of their corners. So top and left of top 0, left 0. There we go. And what's nice about this too is it will be centered, because you know how we had the div right here, and then when we added the pseudo, it was tucked away left over here, so it was off-centered because the div itself was centered, and then we added an absolutely positioned element on top of it, so it was just floating off to the side, and its center position was not taking that into account. By doing it this way, so we have the container, right? That's where that is, and we set its width and height, and its pseudo elements are 90% the width, 90% the height, so that they don't fill it. And then when we tuck it, when we tuck one to the top left and one to the top right, they go to their separate corners because they're in timeout, and we can position one on top of the other. And when we do it this way, when we center the div, both of these in their position is centered. So I actually like the way this turned out better. So now on this div, then if it's left, we got to push this down. So margin bottom, let's just say 70. I would do 50 because I like 50 for mobile, 50, 50, everything. But we have this, and I'm just accounting for this pixel height. So, you know, about 30. So that looks, so if it's at 28, so it should be 78. Yeah, because if I wanted it 50 pixels from here, so this is 28, so 28 plus 50 is 78. So yeah, if we do 70 pixels, that is technically 50 pixels from the top of this. All right, I can live with that. So now we got that. That's what, yeah, that actually this section feels a lot better now that we have this. Let's see what happens when we make the graphic bigger. Let's make them 380. Since it's no longer competing for space with the text, I can make this bigger. I like that. We can make that bigger because these guys, I mean, you're thinking about visual hierarchy. You don't want anything to interfere with the most important aspects of the page, which is the text. The thing that you want people to see the most is your text, and you don't want things obstructing it or overlapping it or taking away from it or taking attention away from it. That's bad visual hierarchy. When you add these graphical elements, that's why we add the opacity right here, and we tuck it away. Like I don't want this. Get out of here. I don't want this right here. This is too busy. This is too clunky. We got this textured background and this on top. That's too much. So that's why it's tucked away to the side, faded out so that your eye isn't, because if this was, 80%, that's too bold. That's too much. So that's why we fade it and put it off to the right. It still adds some visual interest, but it's out of the way that our visual, like our attention is focused here, that we can see this clearly. And that's the point. We want this to be seen clearly, unobstructed, and that's why this is off to the side here. So now we can go to the trees. So let's position these guys right here. So what we're going to do This is Pines, so let's give it a class equals black Pines so that we can target it. All right, and at the we're going to go at the bottom because this is the last element in the section. Benefits. Oh, I forgot it. Benefits dot black Pines. And so again, what we want to do is we want it to be with, oh, I'm sorry, first position absolute. The benefits section is already position relative, so that's fine. See, it's right there. I want it to be width of 100%. I want it to be bottom of, so you'll see here, this needs to be cut off. So that's what we do with this position position absolute, is we can position it to overlap the bottom, and because we want to have the straight line, we don't want them sitting on top like this. So let's just do bottom of like negative 20 pixels and see what that looks like. And our opacity on these guys are 11%. So opacity 0.11. So here they are right now. Let's see, where's my bottom? So that's my bottom. Let's do, so this is overflowing and we want it to cut off. So let's just do, when we go to the top on benefits, so the benefits section, I'm going to set overflow hidden. So anything that green padding right here that you see, that this green padding, anything that overflows that border at the end of that green line will be hidden. So overflow hidden, and that's gonna chop that. All right. So anything that is within this container, if it's overlapping or overflowing this benefits container, it will just be hidden. It's going to be chopped. So we don't want to see this bottom, so that's why we chop it. Now we need more space on the bottom, so more padding. See that green? We got to increase that padding on the bottom. Let's do 150, so that we have space for this to live and space for this to have to itself. So we want to have about the same up here as we do between this tree line. So let's bring this down a little bit. That looks a little better. Now what I want to do, because you see these trees, and when we zoom out, like this graphic is actually out, it's actually this wide, right? Like there's all these trees that we're not seeing, like all these little guys, but I just want these big guys, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this image, let's make it 200%. And so that's going to make it bigger. So I'm going to go down some more. And I want to make it, let's see, left 50%. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this again. Left 50%, margin left. Let's try 0. Let's just see what happens in the middle. Okay. So now what we're going to do to play with it, I'm going to go into the inspector, and I'm going to do negative value until I see like a group of trees that I like visually when I think it looks fine. I like to see a healthy balance. What looks good visually? I think these are too big. So I think that's a good one. So now let's drop this down some more because we want to chop it. So that's going to be negative 62. Now let's play with this some more. So that is that. Is there any more? I think that's the end. Okay. So let's just find a tree line that feels good. It's not too overpowering. I think. Let's see. I feel like I'm missing some. Am I missing some? It feels like I think I'm missing a few, actually. So let's export this. PNG. I feel like I'm missing some. Let's do Pine group. Maybe I saved the file. It just looked off. So Pine group. Where did you go? Oh, that's right. You're all the way to the left. So, 200 pixels. Oh, I think it's because the opacity. Because I have the opacity here, but I exported it with the opacity. So there you go. That's better. Oh, and I think. See, I think when you export it like this, it only exports up to the view, like the view box. So what I need to do to export the whole dang thing, and then move this out, and or do I? Maybe that's what I want. I think that. Yeah, I just want to keep this ratio, I guess. So instead of doing the left 50% thing, we're going to do left of 0, width of 100%, and then a bottom of 0. So now let's drop you down. Okay, that's a good line. Bottom -21. Okay, so this, it's basically just this cropped version. So when I like this, so I want to keep this. So I set it to 100%, set that width there. So, you know, one of the things is, you know, when I do grow this, it also grows. So you see this problem here as it gets bigger. So let's see if this padding bottom percentage fixes that. So instead of 140%, let's just do 30%. Let's do 40%. I need some more. There. Okay, 35 maybe. Okay, so that maintains the ratio. You see how it kind of grows and stays. When we do that padding bottom 30%, it's always pushing down at the same ratio as the screen is growing bigger. So now let's bring this down some more. Bottom. So I want to cut this off just right. Oh, yeah, that looks good. -46. Let me see. No, that doesn't look right. I think we're just going to run into that issue. So I think what needs to happen then in this Figma file, I think I need to edit the image to just have a flat bottom. Honestly, I think that's what I need. So let's do that. Let's go to GIMP. GIMP is a free open source image editor that I like to use. It's pretty easy to use, honestly. So we're going to go to Fiber Web, this one, and Pines Group. So let's open this. So we can see it. It's opaque, so it's kind of vague. So I need to grab this box. So I want all the top, but I want it to stop. So you see, like right here is like where the bottom of a tree is. I don't know if you can see it, but I think I'm going to stop it right here. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to hit enter. So I have all of this selected, but I want to delete this. So I right click, select, invert my selection so that it selects the outside of whatever it is I selected. I hit the delete key, remove the bottom, and then I go to Image, Crop to Content. So I want to crop it to the content right here. Wherever there's content, stop this line, and that's going to be right there at the bottom. So now that I got this cropped appropriately, I can export as Pine Group, replace it, export, and now when I go to here, it should be playing nicely at the bottom. So let's do bottom, 0 pixels, and there we go. So it's flat at the bottom now, and when I zoom in and out, it stays perfect. So yeah, one of the solutions I had to do was I had to actually edit the image. I had to crop it. There was no way around it, it seemed. And looks like we ran into one of our first spacing issues here. So this issue is we did not set a max width to our UL. So when we do this is just going to keep growing, which looks awful. So let's keep this within, what is this? 342. So let's go back up to our benefits UL, max width. Let's just do 350, and margin, auto. But that auto is going to reset this margin bottom, so we got to put margin bottom after auto, because that's how CSS works. Whatever is the last one will override the before. So this sets margin top, right, bottom, left to auto. And then we're just reassigning margin bottom to 90 pixels. So this will be centered. As we grow, it stays right there. Great. Okay. But let's see. Yeah, that looks fine. And I'm going to have to, I think this looks fine. These growing, these look good. Okay. So let's go back to iPhone 5, 75%. So now we saw that problem happening. We fixed it. Some benefits. We got this. We got our guys here. I think we need some more padding bottom, honestly. Let's do 40. And it's going to keep that ratio as it grows, so that's fine. This is looking good. I'm happy with it. Now we're going to go to our next section, which is a big blank section. I think this is the what do you call it, the compass image, because it's white, so it's taking up that space. So what we need to do first, we're going to close you off here, and we're going to copy and paste this to use for the next section. This is going to be our, let's see if this is benefits. This is our tagline. And in our tagline, I want to use the background cheat. I just don't feel like doing it. Oh, I got to do tagline. Dummy. So we're at tagline. I'll just change that. And we're going to set the background to this wood. What is this? It? Yeah, that looks like it. I think that's it. So wood BW. So we're going to do wood BW, and that's going to create that. Now we also, I think we have an overlay, right? Yeah, we have an 80% opaque overlay. So we're going to add an overlay. So position relative, because we're going to add the overlay. We're going to do the pseudo element. That's how I like to do my overlays. So let's do let's copy our overlay code right here. Copy. So this is already formatted. Height, width, 100%, opacity 0.8. Top left, so we want it to be at the very top and left. Z-index, I want it to be -1, so that it's not on top of the content. Let's see if that worked. That did not work. Oh, let's try 0, 0. Oh, sorry, 2, 2, 2. try the Z index. Let's see if that's the problem. Okay, that is the problem. Z index 1. So let's see if we add a Z index positive 1 here. Okay. Yeah. Anytime you add a Z index on some child, put a Z index 1 on the parent, and for some reason that fixes some things. I don't know why. If I was a smarter person, I'd be able to tell you, but all of the resources I looked up for like fixing Z index issues is to put a Z index of 1 on the parent and Z index of whatever it is that you're doing on the child, and it should help. So now we got this compass that is 8% opacity. So let's just do compass. So we do tagline. Compass. And it's going to be position absolute. It's going to be, I'm going to say top of -50, right of -50, just to see where it's at. Opacity 0.08. Is that where it was? 0.08. All right. Let's see what that does. Okay. All right. So that's where we are. I'm gonna leave this as is. I'm just gonna work on these right now. So the tagline H2. It's gonna be obviously white. We got text transform, uppercase. Let's see what our font size looks like. It needs to be bigger. What are you? 30. Let's try. Yeah, that looks better. 2 lines. I wonder if that line height looks fine. That's fine. Okay, so then we got this. You're 18, but I want you to be 16. So tagline H2P, font size 16, line height, my favorite number 1.5M, and color 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. So we need to. So this one. Okay, this compass. See, this compass is preventing me from clicking on anything. I think it's because it's on. It might be on top of everybody. So the index -1. There you go. And now they're fine. But a neat trick that I've seen if you have problems and you like maybe you have an overlay that needs to be over them. So if you remove this and if you do pointer events, none, even though it's on top of them, it doesn't register any pointer events. So like when your mouse hovers over it, it doesn't recognize it. So that's neat if you have to put images on top of buttons or covering things. But I don't want them on top. I want it behind. So we're just going to do Z index of -1. But that pointer events none. That's very nifty and useful. I would definitely recommend hanging on to it. And we're going to add a margin bottom of 30. So if this is 30, I want this to be 30. Right, that's just good spacing. So this looks fine. This has my standard. So you'll notice the top and bottom of this section tagline. There we go. That's 50 pixels padding top and bottom. I have that set on my core styles. So every section has a padding of 50 pixels and a 10 pixel bumper. So, because you notice I'm not using containers for these guys really, because I don't think I need them. I only use them where I need them. So they're right there. There you go. See, that green is creating the padding left and right and the padding top and bottom. By doing this, I can ensure that all of my sections, you see this space and this space are the same, and that's what you want. A lot of times people make mistakes in design where they don't have enough padding on the bottom and top. Like maybe this one might be way too close to the bottom, and then this one might be way too far from the top. It's just uneven, sloppy, and it just looks bad. It's bad design. So whenever you're positioning things or trying to create white space or give, just let things breathe a little bit, always think about equal space. You want to have symmetry, equal spacing, top and bottom, equal spacing in between these guys. So this is 50 up here. This is 30. So this has to be 30. That's just the way you got to think now. You got to have these little rules of spacing and letting things breathe. Like this graphic, I bet there's some developers that would probably let this sit right here, right up next to this, or sit right close to this. Give this some space. Let it breathe. Let it have its own little room to be itself. That's kind of the core of. If you're going to take anything from this, like from any kind of design advice, it's to just let your elements have their space. Let them breathe. Use your white space, because you don't want to cram everything. It just looks messy when it's all crammed. It's like a hoarder house on a website. So just see how much better this looks. It looks like it's supposed to be this way. And honestly, I think I'm going to leave this compass the way it is. I like this. I like the shape behind it. This feels good. This is one of those things, like when I'm talking about visual hierarchy. It might be a little. It still might be a little much, so we're going to lower the opacity, actually. Where are you at? Compass. Let's do 0.6. There, so it's a little more subtle, because you see it was a little too bright. Even though we have it as 0.8 in the Figma, we are the boss. We are the king, the god, the all ruler of this website. So do it. This is yours. Okay, we also got our problem here. So this is our button transparent, so we want to have the same font family. So this is button solid. So all of our button transparents, we also want you to have Oswald. All right, and we want you to have the same width, no border radius. Let's just replace that with our width. What is it? Yeah, 250. 250. And then our font size, this is 18. What are you up here? Font size 18. Oh, that's right, text transform uppercase. So this is in my, I'm just gonna put this wherever I want. There you go. So in my little, I guess, my core styles for my template that I made, I already have these styles configured for this class. So we're looking at here, button transparent, right? That's without the background. That's just this class. It's something I already have in my build kit. That's why I recommend always having like your own starter template, because you have your styles already defined. It's like your own framework that you use, but it's incredibly simple and easier to use. So I like this. This section feels pretty good, so we're going to keep it. And now we're on to this. As you notice, this has already been done for us by the work that we did up here. However, where is your pseudo element? Let's go back to, whoops. Let's go back to about. All right. And let's go down here to my A. Z index 1. Okay. Z index -1. Why are you work for one button but not the other button? See this? It's right here, right? Wait. Now they're not working for this one. Hold on. Okay, so that's there. But where are you? Alright, now I gotta figure out why you are being so difficult. So I remove this. Alright, that's that, that's that, that's that. Maybe it's going behind. I think it's going behind the is it going behind the about? Let's try. Okay, let's just get rid of this background and see if it shows up. Okay, so the background is the problem. So if I make this 1, make this 2, 20. Okay, that doesn't work. For some reason, I need to keep it like this, but this background. What if I put it on here? No, that doesn't work. So I think what I need to do, if this background is the issue, maybe I need to add it as a pseudo element, like I did on benefits. So if I go to benefits, I'm going to steal this because I added the background as a pseudo on benefits. Close this up. Go to about. Let's make this about. Let's remove this background. Add a position relative. And let's see. Top 0. Oh, that's right, faded antique full. So I want this to be faded antique. So it's got that white. And did it work? I don't see the background. So let's try this 1. 10. I don't see it. Why are you causing me trouble? Absolute, block, top, bottom. Let's try doing height 100%. Let's just see if that works with 100%. Okay, so it's there. Oh, I think it's the opacity. Why am I so dumb? It says an opacity on it. There it is. But let's see. Take off the C index. Now let's see what happens when we make it -1. Okay. Bingo. There we go. That did it. See, pseudo elements to the rescue. So I just created a different layer of a pseudo element, via a pseudo element, and I positioned that behind the arrow. So it looks like we need more space actually down here. So we're gonna do padding bottom 100%, 100 pixels, and that looks better. Yeah. All right, so we got that figured out. I don't know why that happened, but it happened, and I'm still here. I didn't quit. Here we go. So yeah, this is actually shaping up pretty nice. Actually, kind of, I'm digging this. This is working for me. So now we're onto this. We're at the almost at the footer already. So let's do these. That's right. We got to do these shields. So let's see how we're going to close this. Tagline, it's done. So we're going to close this. I guess this will be the footer after this. So this will be philosophy. Philosophy. Oops. Okay. So we're going to target the shield philosophy. Oops. Dot shield. Okay. So I want these shields as pseudo elements. So I want my background in pseudo text. And let's see, before. I just hope we don't run into these z-index issues. And then we want to take shield, position relative, so that we can position something absolute on top of it. And then we're going to do shield svg, and I want to make its width is 250 by 150. Let's just make a box. Let's see how big that turns out to be. And I want it to be centered. You don't need to worry about opacity. I want it to be centered. Display flex. Oh, sorry. Justify content center. Align items center. And so these are spans. So I want to make them display block. And then margin auto. And then I want to do margin bottom like 100 to space them out. So that's what we got right now. These are our before elements. So this compass, see this compass is overflowing this container. So what I need to do to fix that, so it's not, because it's interrupting my section over here. It's like, hey, stay in your lane. You don't belong here. We don't like your kind. So we're gonna go up here and overflow hidden. So that basically cuts that off. Basically a DOI checkpoint for these graphics. Like, hey, what are you doing over here? Nope, it's the end of the line. So it stops here, and we can now touch these nice without any problem. So this is 150, 150. Background size contained. It just contains the entire box, so it fills it as best it can without overlapping the borders. As you can see, this margin bottom is not enough. So let's close this tagline. Go back down to philosophy. We need more. 150. Yeah. And you know what? These actually have to be bigger. I don't like it. So we're going to do 250. Okay, I like that. But this isn't. It's not centered, as you can see. So I want let's do width of 100%. Yeah. No. This is the container. This is the shield. This is the before. But this isn't centering it. Let me try this. Let me try my old school way. So I'm going to do left 50%, transform, translate x, negative 50%. There you go. So what this does, it's kind of like the left 50%, margin left, whatever, except this actually centers it in the center. So it's going left 50%, and we're translating it x negative 50%. It has something to do with like 50% over its center. I don't know the exact details of it, but if you want to center something horizontally, these two lines of code on an absolutely positioned element will center it horizontally. And if you wanted to do it vertically, it's just the opposite. Top and then Y. So top 50% and Y negative 50. It'll position it horizontal or vertical within its container. So this positions it in the center horizontally within its parent element, which is shield. So you see it's centered. That's just another old school way of doing it. So now let's actually get these guys done. So obviously your font family is going to be Oswald. And we know that we need to make it uppercase. Color is going to be the 222. Font weight, bold. So now we got to make you big. Font size, I don't know, 40. Is that big enough? Or is that too big? That might be too big. Let's do like 33. Okay. So now let's see. We got to put these guys in the back. -1. Okay, so that puts them behind their spans. So now, I guess what I need to do, I also need to be centered on top. So I'm going to have this top. Let's try -50, and let's just do that until we get somewhere. So I want this to line up relatively close to it, because we're gonna have to rotate it as well. So let's just move it up to where it's in a decent position. So -109. Let's just try that. All right, and we need to rotate our text 7 degrees. So our spans, transform, rotate 7 degrees. -7 degrees. Okay, there. That's the angle we want. But I think at this size, I think it needs to be bigger. So let's go down here into our inspector and click on that so our cursor is flashing, and then use our. Is that? Well, no, I think no. Let's try set. Let's just okay. So it's 7. I think I have to rotate this 7. That's right, because I'm stupid. So we're going to rotate this. We have to rotate our pseudo elements in the opposite direction. So since we already have a transform on our pseudo element, if I added another transform on it, it's going to cancel out this one. You can't do that. So what we need to do is put them on a single line. You can only have one transform on an element at a time, but you can have multiple transforms in that line. And that, I don't know why it took so long for me to learn that. So learn that right now. So now when we do that, let's rotate it the opposite way, 7 degrees. Okay, then yeah, that's like perfect. Cool. So also we want to text the line center on our little spans here, and hell, all right, yeah, that's pretty darn close. Cool. So that's what we did. That's how we made those shields with this span in the center of them. We just added them as a pseudo element, made the span display block and centered it, and then we just positioned the pseudo element behind it that is centered horizontally with it, and then we just move it up and down to where it fits, rotate the span, rotate the pseudo, and bada bing, bada boom. So let's add. We need some more space down here, because like so this is the content space. Is this blue? That's how tall the span is, and this margin is the orange down. So we need to actually push this down, because these aren't actually, the content boxes are not the size of these shields. That's the content box. The shields are just absolutely positioned, so the DOM is not taking into consideration their height at all. So we need to push them down more. Let's try a little bit, 260. So this problem is fixed by adjusting the padding. We need to add more padding to the top of this to push this down. So on philosophy, we're going to do padding top 150. Let's see what that does. Okay, so we want to make sure that this is roughly the same as this, and I think this is too small, so let's do 160. Okay, this 55. This feels better. We want to make sure that this space is even with this space. So that's good. Now that we got these guys, actually happy with how easy this turned out to be. Heck yeah. So now we go down to these guys. So the problem is this gap is created by the margin bottom on this guy. So we want to target the last shield. So we're going to copy this, and one of my favorite things to use. So this is a pseudo element attached to the shield, so I want these to stay together. So this is going to go after. Let's go after these. And I want to do this pseudo element last of type. So it's the last type of shield. Margin bottom 0. So now we have that space, but I want space, so we're gonna pump that down. Let's see, 50 pixels. All right. I think that works. So this space feels good. I like this space. Yeah, I like this. I just had a thought in my head. If I made these really small and did like 4 of them right here, because this feels a little long. But I'm just wondering, at what point is the font size too small? You never really want to get down. You don't want to go below, I think, 12 pixels, I think, is too small for phones, for accessibility reasons. So let's see what these would be. If I made them really small, can it work? I'm just debating how I want to do it. If I wanted to make this, all big guys here, or if I want to make them, I think it's too small, honestly. Just to make these guys fit together. Yeah, I just don't think it's going to work, so let's refresh. I think this is fine. Nice bold, big letters. So now we got here our philosophy. Wonderful. This section's already done because we did it before. Now we're just down to the footer. So let's figure out how we're going to do this section, right? So we got this footer section. So right away, just looking at this, I already know what I'm going to remove. And that's going to be this graphic. We don't need this, actually, because we don't have space for it. It's just not, it's not there. We're on mobile. So what's important? What is the visual hierarchy? What do we need? We need this box. So I think we can get away with having this box and then putting these guys to the right and left. So let's make this box, right? So let's go ahead and close out philosophy. And then we're going to go to our footer. Now, I actually don't need you, so we're going to get rid of you. And what I want to do is I want to target this footer left, and I want to remove it so that it doesn't take up any space in the DOM and mess things up for me. So we're going to do footer left, display none, and I want footer right. I want that background to be my green. So there you are. Yeah, this dandelion thing, that's what's messing this whole thing up. So what we're gonna do first is get our text figured out here. So it's just another. Oh, did I forget something? Another header. Okay. I thought it looked a little blank. Okay, so what are you? 40. So you're going to be basically the same as this as benefits. So let's go look at benefits. So you see how easy it is to scroll up and down your website's CSS when you have it structured this way. So I'm going to go back up to my benefits. I'm going to grab my let's see, benefits H2. Oh, did I keep it the same? That's right, because they have the same quote H2. So let's go to about. Quote block H2. Let's just do this. Let's see. So footer right H2. That should basically make that the same. And except I want white. And on my footer right, I need a padding top and bottom of 50 pixels, and I should 10 pixels left and right. There we go. Now we got that. And my text. So I need my footer right P, font size of 16, color of white, text align center. I don't know why it keeps jumping like this, but you know, that is what it is. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. And I actually need, where's my button? Button solid. But, oh, that's because you're green. So I actually need to make you white. Okay, and then I need to make your color green. Cool, cool. And then I need to make you display block and margin auto. Okay, and I need to have good equal space. That's 45. What was this up here? 25. So we're going to do margin bottom 25. I'm going to do a P, margin bottom 25. Ignore this. We're going to deal with you later. We're just going to get this right. So how's this not finally? This is not bolded. Font weight, bold. That's better. Let's see what we got. So, dandelion. Let's get you figured out here. So I want to, we got class dandelion. Why was there no aria? Aria, hidden, true. Come on, Ryan. Basic stuff here. Gotta hide dandelining. It's not important. So footer, dot footer right. Dot dandelion. Is that how I spelled it? Dandelion. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna do position absolute. Oh, we also have to make our container footer right, position relative. All right, and then we're gonna do bottom 0, right 0. Let's just see where we are. Too big, too big. So I gotta think about how do I want to implement this, because I still like it, but I think what I have to do, because this is obviously too tall and big. So we have, so it's out here in the corner and looks like it has an opacity on it, I think. Yeah, 50%. So obviously we can't have this full image here, right? It just doesn't work. So I think what I want to do is I'm just gonna use this. So let's go ahead and give it an opacity of 0.35. All right, I want it to be less noticeable. And I'm gonna give it a width. Let's try 100 pixels. Let's just see what it looks like. Okay, so there you go. That's 100 pixels. That's a little. I mean, it's cute, but it's not the design piece or like that I want. You know, that could work, making it really small. But I think I want to make this. Like, I want to make this dandelion head. I want to make it like this. So let's do 4. And let's position this bottom like -100. Also, looks like we're gonna. So this is overflowing its container. So we have to overflow hidden. So there's that. Now let's just position this. Where are you? Dandelion? Okay. So we're going to position this down. Let's just play with it. And let's move this over some more. That's not so much the focus. I just want it like just on the edge, you know. I think that's fine. So let's do right 66. There you are, right, negative 66. And then bottom, what was that? Negative 142. Okay, so that's going to place that down there. So, yeah, when you're trying to do these, when you're trying to position these guys, when you're going from desktop to mobile, like, yeah, this one has a full dandelion doing its dandelion thing, but it's okay when you go to mobile if you can't fit it. So when you go down to mobile, things get smaller. Sometimes you just need to make things a little bigger, and it's okay. I like to do these overlapping images. It's okay to think outside of the box that it's in. So take these images, you know, hide the overflow, position them off center, off the grid. You know, cut them off. It's okay. So I'm just going from a desktop design to a mobile design. Looks like little guy woke up, so I'm gonna have to put that thing back to sleep, and I'm gonna try this again. So it'll be another cut. Just a second. All right, I'm back. It's like 3 a.m. over here. Little guy woke up asking for me, so I had to go put him back down. I thought I could make it all night without an interruption, no phone calls, but got the kid calls. Forgot about those. So yeah, we were talking about this this graphic here. Like, don't be afraid to blow something up and kind of make it more prominent on mobile. I think we gotta actually z-index this guy. -1. Nope. So let's try photo right. Z-index 1. And there you go. See, the index 1 thing always ends up working somewhere. So yeah, and then now we got that section. So we have to deal with. So this obviously is the logo, since in the HTML, the top. I'm sorry. Where are we going here? Footer. Okay, so it's footer right. This is footer left. Okay, so let's just close this footer box. So this is the logo box. So this is our logo box, and then this looks like our image, I think. Footer logo in our logo box. Oh no, this is our logo box. So if footer box is here, and you are logo single, I'm wondering, I'm just trying to figure out why is this the way it is? Well, first let's knock this out of the equation. Let's get logo single. Let's do background. Let's call this background logo. Let's do footer dot background logo. Let's just do display none. Let's just get rid of this thing for now. So if we get rid of that, we still have this. What are you doing here? Wait, I think that's because of the footer styles that I have. So let's close this, because I don't know if you remember the footer logo that we had originally. It was overlapping this line. So what we got to do is go over to our, this is our footer. Obviously we're not using these, so we're just going to remove these. So yeah, we're doing footer here, but that's just for the sake of this video. Once I'm done with footer and styles, I'm actually going to put it into core styles so that it loads on every page. So when we do that, it should fix all of our problems. Save. Now the world makes sense. Okay. There we go. So, yeah, I don't even think I'm going to do the, I don't think I'm going to do the things on the left and right. Honestly, I don't think there's any room. I think I'm just going to keep this a big full screen, full size. But this about us, this needs to move. So we're going to go to philosophy. Heading bottom 150. Is that too much? Nah, it's just too much. Let's try 50. That looks good. That looks fine. Needed that space there. So now we got this. We got this. So our footer, actually, we need a background on it. What is that? 1F, 1F, 1F. So our footer. So this is our footer. Okay. Now we're gonna do. Let's just get this and these guys done, and then we will add the background guide. So we'll bring you back into play here soon. So we're going to do logo box. I'm going to push down. So I'm going to push down from the footer right. There we go, footer right. So we're going to do margin bottom. 100. Just push this down, and then footer. So this is going to be logo box. And in logo box, we're going to target our dot footer logo. We're going to do width of, let's see, what's the biggest you get? 152. I think that's fine on mobile. Let's do 152. But first I have to set it to display block, because A tags as well as image tags are display inline by default. So if you want to add any width or margin or anything to it, you have to set it to display block. Logo box dot, I see, that footer dot logo box dot footer logo display block with 152. So why do you persist? Oh, I see. I think the image. Okay, so let's do margin auto. I think the issue is the image. So we're going to do image, and we're going to do display block width of 100% its container, which is the A tag, which is footer logo. So let's see if that works. There it is. Yeah, so when you have like an image placed inside of an image or inside of a link like this, sometimes you have to also set your image to be with 100%. Otherwise, the image is just going to be however big it wants to be. So you have to set those explicitly, and you can only do it by adding display block. So now we got that. I think we have room for. I think we have room for these. So let's push this down. Let's do footer logo margin bottom 250. Okay. And FFF. Okay, cool. So footer logo P color. Wait. Okay, and you are font size 10. Oh, that's right. You're not in the logo box. So, oh, wait. Remove that. Footer P. There's that. Line height 20. the line, center. I want that to be centered. Okay, so let's work on this dude here. So we got our logo box. So after let's do the first one. So it comes before the logo. Let's do how are we gonna target these? Footer line. So let's just set their base styles of width. What's the width on these guys? Is that a stroke? How did I make you? There it is. 10. So that's 10 wide. 10 pixels. Let's do height. 236. Background. White. Display. No. Position. Absolute. So then I'm going to do logo box. Top footer left. I'm going to do left of 0. Top of 0. And then we're going to do footer right. I want you to go to the right. Let's see if that did anything. Okay, okay. So I need to set logo box. Where are you at? So that's logo box. I need to set logo box to position relative. Okay, so here's logo box. These are obviously width 152, width 152, height 195. It's 236. Okay, so that looks about right, but like, why are you over here? Footer box. Let's see. Logo box. Okay, logo box is here. It's footer left, footer right. Oh, I got footer top, footer bottom. What the hell is wrong with me? Footer left, footer right. Okay, so that's we're getting closer now. It's just for some reason footer left wants to, it's going over there. So this is logo box. This is footer left. Display none. Interesting. Where's that coming from? So that's the footer background. After that. Why? Oh. This is a problem. We have two classes that are for different things. So we got footer left up here. In our footer box. Okay, so this is our footer box and our footer left. So I need to be more specific. So this is logo box. So I'm going to take this. Actually, no. I just got to change these. These are stupid. So okay. So let's do logo. Logo. So we got that right. Now we got. Okay, logo box for a line. Okay, logo left. So I make this logo left. Logo right. Yeah, all right, here we go. So I want both of these lines to be positioned in the middle vertically. So we're going to do my transform translate y -50%. This is just my quick way of positioning them in the middle. Let's see, why did that not work? Oh, that's right, because I have top 0. So we're going to remove these tops. And there. So this positions it centered vertically. It's just another quick way of doing of positioning things vertically or horizontally. So now I need to do the pseudos. So let's start with left. And let's just grab my cheat sheet for my overlay. It just creates a pseudo with a background. Nice and easy. White, I want you to be how much is this? Width of 31. And you're going to be 10 pixels high. I want you to the top, and I want you to the left 10 pixels. Because like, if we go to the left 10 pixels, that's basically to the edge of however this is wide. So absolute, let's see, so if I do this again, but with an after, and I change top to bottom, if I save, there should be 2 little things at the top and bottom here. And there are. Beautiful, except there's that line, so like, are these really 31 wide? Yeah, this just seems like a little wide, but so we're going to do left of 9 pixels instead of 10, so that line is, you know, we never have to worry about it. So there's that. So now we just copy paste these pseudos. So this is logo right. This is going to be this one. Paste these. So I want it to be from the right instead of the left. Oh, I still have left. So right, logo right, and there they are. And that's done. So now I need, I don't want these on the edge. I don't want it touching the screen. So logo left. Left needs to be 10 pixels, which is what the typical, you know, padding is. So that's 10. So you go back to logo right and make right 10. And there's that. That's neat. We got that. I think we need more space though. Logo box. Let's see, what is it? Footer logo that has that? Yeah, footer logo, but it should be the logo box that actually has the. Let's see. Yeah, footer logo has the margin bottom, but it really should be the footer box. The logo box. Logo box, logo box, logo box. Make this. Okay, here it is. Margin bottom. Let's do, I don't know, 70. A little more than that. Try 80. I just hate how it resets. That looks fine. Let's see. I want it to. Well, I do want it to be the same at the top. So yeah, I do have to account for the shapes of those of these guys. So as long here we go. 3:47 a.m. Here we go. First yawn. So this roughly looks the same as that. Now let's finish this. We got design credit. That is obviously Oswald. At the bottom here. Okay, that's in space. So it is this span. Let's go to class of credit. Let's do dot credit. So we're going to want Oswald, display block, all right, color white. Is there a font weight on these guys? No, it's just a regular font size 13. Right, and then footer credit. Whoops. So inside this credit is an A tag whose color I want to be the green. And then we got copyright. Let's do copy. So footer, let's just do display block, color white, font family Oswald, font size 13. Oh, and let's not forget align center. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, there's that. So we want to take off the text declaration, none. That takes off the underline. This P tag up here needs to have a margin bottom. Come on, right? 50. So we're going to push that down. And let's see. So this, you don't want it just touching the edge down here. So this, on the footer, you need to add a padding bottom of 50. 50 pixels. So that's even there. No, let's do like 20. There you go. That looks fine. Design developed. Oh, carpet web. So I think that's our mobile. So now what we do, so we're on iPhone 5. So now let's test it for iPhone, the bigger iPhones. So that's nice. On the bigger iPhones, we get this. So I like that we get to see this on the big iPhones. It looks fine. This looks fine. This just looks off center. And it's just because of the nature of it being a list. I wonder if we if you take that padding left and remove it. No. See, the thing is, it's like, so these LIs, they take up, the thing is with when you make them 2 columns, it makes them all the same width, and then it's, so this, it doesn't align properly, but I'll have to go through and play with this when I add the actual texts in there instead of just this pane relief. So I'll figure that out later. This looks nice. Let's see. So I kind of actually. Everything's centered except for this, so I think I need to center this. Doesn't feel right. And then when I go to the big guys, when I go to this, I actually want this to stay on 2 lines. I kind of like that look. So I'm going to change the width of this to stay 2 lines. So we're going to tagline. Text align. Actually, let's see if I can do it on the parent. Cool. So we got that, and I need to do the H2 with 200 pixels. Nope. 250. There we go. And I need to do a margin auto that centers that, but then I'm losing that margin because it's resetting. So margin bottom 30. So margin bottom 30 to match the paragraph. All right, so there's that. That feels a lot better. I don't know what I was thinking keeping this left aligned, but this is a lot better. Just because everything else is centered, especially mobile is very, center aligned. So let's just keep that going. And on 5, that looks fine. So these are still cool. These are working. This is looking good. This is staying. I think I want this. I don't want this to be full width. So let's go back to footer. Let's see, footer right. So we want footer right P. Width. I want it to be max width of 300 pixels and a margin of auto. So I'm putting the margin auto above the margin bottom so that it doesn't override the margin bottom. So I didn't like it touching this side, so let's make this a little more 330. Yeah, I don't like it going all the way. It just seemed like everything's supposed to be happening right around here. Once you have this heading and then it spills out this way, it just was too bulbousy. I didn't like that. And honestly, maybe I got to do that to these guys too. But it doesn't look too bad when you don't have. Maybe it's fine for everybody else, but I just didn't like it here. Okay. I think that's it. I think that's good for mobile. This is good. So now let's see. Yeah, all right, so we got to push. I was wondering about what was going to, so we got to push this down. I just had to check mobile. So we push this down. So I do this UL. Let's do a margin top, I don't know, 100. Too much. Let's go down, maybe straight in there. There we go, okay. Right there. 45, margin top 45. Side nav UL. That's course styles, line 407. Side nav UL, margin top, that was 45. Okay, so that's fine now. However, I think these should be Oswald. So side nav A. Let's go back to core styles. Oswald. Yeah, that's more in line now. So I do that. Now we're not going to do dark mode yet. So obviously we still have a lot to go through, but it works. I'm gonna have to remove this, but we'll do dark mode at the end for everybody. Let's just see what this looks like for this is horizontal now for iPhone, so let's just check this. This isn't too bad. That's not too bad. It's just this when you see this, this is just bad. So I think I want to rein these in. So let's do a max width on our P's. Let's do a max width of 400. Okay, so if we do 400, that's what it looks like. I think we do better than that. Let's just grow it until it looks fine. I think let's try 5. I think 500 is a good number. So let's go back all the way to the beginning. So about whole block P, we're going to do margin auto, max width of 500. Okay, so that's going to take care of that one. That's going to take care of that one. Now we're going to go our tagline. let's close this. About benefits, tagline P, margin auto, max width 500. All right. Actually, I think this guy can be shorter. 4. Yeah, that looks better. It just was, it was too long. It looked weird just having 2 long lines, so I wanted to drop that down to 3. And you know what? It is just landscape. I could technically, you know, set these to be. Actually, maybe I should. Yeah, maybe I should. So what is this? 736. Let's close tagline. We're at philosophy. So this is, well, this 48M. I mean, it should be 768 pixels, and this is 1024 pixels. So we want another one. What is happening? There we go. Okay, I'm just going to close you. I don't know what I did. I just messed it. I did something. Okay, so 1024 pixels. So we're going to copy one. We're going to insert min width of 7. Let's do min width of 568 because this is 5SE. So no, let's not do the 5. Let's do the 6 because I think that's where it'll fit. So 667. So in 667, I want tagline philosophy. Okay, so I want this philosophy. Let's do shield. That doesn't look right. Shield container. So I want to target philosophy and dot shield container. I want to make this display flex. I want to make it wrap. So flex wrap. Okay, and then so these shields. Did I spell that right? Container. This shield, so it's with 100%, so I need to fix that. So I need this to be with 40% so that they can, you know, do that. And because this one, let's see what's happening here. Why are you being so weird? Oh, because these all have crazy margin bottoms, except for this one, right? So this margin bottom is 260. So I need to change the last child, or the last of type, to have the same margin bottom, which is 260. There you go. They're pushing up the same. But now we got all this weird gap right here because of these two. So actually, I think I want to make it 0 for the nth of type. And of type, I want the third one, I want it to also be margin 0. Or no, it's not actually 0. It's 50. So 50. There we go. So they're both pushing down on this equally. So that's how we do that. So we make these 4Zs, and that's going to carry off. That's going to take us all the way into tablet. I also want to do just effect content center. I just want to center them. So it looks like everything is still, yeah, because see these, because there's pseudo elements wherever these shields go, wherever they go, these pseudo element shields, they go with them. So there's really, you don't have to do any like resizing or positioning. That's what's nice about using pseudo elements, as background images, and just attaching them basically to their elements, so it makes things easier. That's good. That looks good. I think here is where we can do our two trees. So I'm gonna copy this, and we're gonna go to let's close. Oh, we're already in footer, so I'm gonna go right here in between, and we're gonna do footer right width of I don't know, 500, and we want to do a margin of auto. We want it to be centered. Now, so let's actually make this thinner. That should be better. So now what we're going to do is we're going to absolutely position this, make it go top and center, and then we got to do a huge padding bottom on this. So footer right, when we do position absolute, let's make sure our footer is position relative, and because I don't want to do flexbox on it and mess everything else up on it, so left 50%, transform, translate x, -50. So I only want this to be vertical, centered horizontally. I don't want everything else. And we also got to fix this. This is too wide. So this is going to be centered now, and we want it to go top negative. I don't know, like 400. Who knows? Let's see. So that's too much. So let's do 2. How much off is it down here? So it looks like it's just maybe like 2/3 over. So let's just go a little bit. 230. That should be fine. Now let's do this padding top on the footer to push everything else down. Let's do 200. Yeah. That's 250. That's good. Now we got to do padding bottom above it. So we got to take this again, go into philosophy, padding bottoms. We need to push everything inside the container up. We can also use margin, but I want to use padding because I want it to be associated with the section. I don't want it to push things away. I want it to push its elements up. So padding bottom 200. Is that enough? Too much? 160, too little? Just right. All right, that looks good. That looks fine. So actually this footer, I don't want it to be, I think it's too much padding. 40? That's a nice balance. So right away, I want to fix this. I'm tired of looking at you. So A, I want you to be no more than 305 wide. So I actually need to go over here, footer logo box, logo box. Okay, class logo box. I want you to be there. He goes. Okay, max width 305 pixels. A margin auto. Making sure I'm putting it before margin bottom so it doesn't reset margin bottom. And there we go. That stays. I had to set its width because when it's display block, it's going to go the whole dang thing. So I had to explicitly tell it how big I wanted it to be. And that's fine. That's fine. So now let's do our pseudos to get these guys, and I think we're going to be it. Not a lot of people target the landscape mode, but it's part of the mobile experience, and I really think it's another breakpoint for you to target. So let's do, so what is this? Philosophy. All right, this is footer box. So we're gonna be dealing with footer box here. And so not in U right here. So I'm gonna do footer box before, and I'm going to copy my pseudo as a background code so we don't have to waste time writing it all out. It's all the same: height, width, position absolute, display block, content empty. Next that background, we're going to change it to did I not save those? Pines black 2. Did I not save them? Let's see, I just got these. I think I got to save them. So this image, let's export. See, there's these guys. So we're going to save. Let's do Pines left. And this is reversed, so let's do Pines right. Okay, so that's going to be easier now. So this is going to be Pines left. And I want this to be left of like negative, I don't know, 100, who knows. I want this to be bottom. And you're going to be height and width. So width 192 and height, the height is 180. So that's how big we want to make our pseudo box so that the image will fill it perfectly. So get our footer box before, height, width, Pines left, bottom, left negative, let's try 50. Where are you? So footer box. Oh, I think I moved footer right. I should have been moving footer box. Okay, so that's done. Now this needs to come up. So this is where it's at. Okay. Let's bring it in some more. Left, negative, whatever. Let's pop it bottom. There it is. I knew you were there. So there's that. Let's bring in left some more. And let's maybe make it come down some more. Just like that. Okay, 174. Bottom 174. Left is negative 126. So there's that. Now we do the other one. That's going to be after, and it's going to be, instead of left, it's going to be right. And there you are. And since it should be reversed, oh, that's right, right, instead of left. And there you go. That's pretty easy, right? Pseudo elements. So now whatever happens to this box, if this box gets wider, these will move with it. So when we add this other element, since it's a pseudo element that's positioned based on the width, so this is where 0 is, it will always be left negative 126 of its leftermost border. This will always be right. So when we do add this box, this will just push this out more, and these guys will stay in the same exact spot. So that's one of the neat benefits of using pseudo elements in your code wherever you can, because dang it, they're so useful. Especially using them as background images attached to their parents. It's there's just so much to do with them, and it just makes your day and your job so much easier. So this is what we have on our design, and this is what we did. You know, so this looks fine. I can accept this. This looks good on whatever you call this, iPhone rotated. So we got everything. This looks good. Let's bring it back. So one more cursory glance. Let's look at iPhone 8 Plus, not rotated. So I'm glad I like this. On the bigger screens, we got this V. And everything looks good. This is, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. So the next video is going to be tablet and any other screen sizes in between the rotated version and tablet. So we're going to focus on tablet next time, which should go by pretty fast, and then it's desktop, and then it's over. So thanks for following along this long, and hopefully this has helped and you learned something. It's 4 a.m. and I think it's time for me to go to bed. So yeah, appreciate you guys watching and supporting. So I just hope this helps. Thanks, guys.